Hello, and welcome to the Built to Lead Transform with Hatty podcast. I can't believe that I'm actually saying this, but I have started. This is the official first episode, and I am so excited. When I tell you I have been putting this off for the longest, I'm talking like a year. Anyone who knows me, I'm a ranter. If I'm passionate about something, I'm literally going to be like talking about it, screaming about it up to my lungs. And now I'm here because everyone's like, Hatty, why don't you just start a podcast? Why don't you start going on YouTube and doing long form content? So I said, yeah, sure, why not? But of course, just like anyone else, imposter syndrome kicks in, you start procrastinating, other things happen, blah, 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 blah. And therefore it has taken me quite some time. But what is important is that I'm here. I made it. And you're here listening to me, so welcome. If you don't know me already, my name is Hatty, but everyone calls me Hatty. I am the founder of Transform with Hatty, and believe it or not, I've been a personal trainer for 7 years. Everyone's like, Hatty, you're so young. Like, how have you got this much experience? Because, girl, when everyone else was going out, enjoying their life at 16 years old, I was going to school and then going to work straight after because I had qualified as a personal trainer. And I was working my butt off, literally, during like 16 to 18. So yeah, I'm currently 24 and I've been a PT for 7 years. So I've been there, done that with a lot of things. I've worked with a lot of women in the last, 7 years. And I've seen a lot. I've heard a lot of excuses. I've seen a lot of progress. I've seen a lot of results, transformations. And ultimately, my mission here is now to reach more and more ambitious and high-performing women. Be a guide for them so they understand that before anything else, right, before the money and the fame and the success, health and body is literally the most powerful asset that you can have. And without that, without your health and your body, you cannot build wealth. It's just as simple as that. Maybe up until some point you can, but a point will kick in your life where you will realise that your health and your physical body is literally the only thing that is actually the most important. Like, it should be the number one priority. But today, I'm actually going to start talking to you about time. Because over the last 7 years, the reoccurring theme that has always come up when it comes to excuses is time. Oh, Hatty, I don't have enough time. I'm too busy. I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to meal prep. I don't even have time to drink water because I'm that busy at work that I just forget. Or, so many different things. And look, I'm not going to go all Molly May on you and say that we all have the same 24 hours in a day, yeah? Because although, yes, physically, everyone literally has 24 hours, I do understand, and I'm not ignorant to the fact that everyone's 24 hours looks different, okay? So let's settle that once and for all. I get it. You have kids, you've got family that you have to take care of, you might be working night shifts, so your days are looking different. Ultimately, I understand that everyone's life looks different, as it should, because we're all unique, right? But what I'm actually getting at here isn't the lack of time, but the use of time. So yes, you may have limitations with your day. Yes, you may have to do so many different things at the same time. But ultimately, you are still in control of where you allocate your time and your energy. So ultimately, I'm talking to those people who don't manage their time properly, procrastinate all the time, and just don't have a plan. Like, simply, they just don't have a plan. They just rock up and they live life on edge. They don't really know what's going on and they go with the flow. And now look, if that's you and you are just going with the flow, then, that's fine. And if that's your belief and that's how you want to live your life, that's up to you. But for those women who are actually trying to achieve results, who actually want to wake up and feel prepared and feel like they've actually got some sort of structure in their life, you have to start by looking at your time and looking at how you allocate your time. Now, we have 168 hours in one whole week. That sounds to me like a lot, 168. That's a lot of hours, right? And let's say, I'm not going to start doing maths here because I don't have my calculator, and best believe I left maths at GCSE. But there's 168 hours. Let's say that you sleep for about 8 hours every night, okay? that's like some of the chunk of the day gone. Now in my head I'm thinking, if I'm sleeping for 8 hours a day and I'm maybe working for 8 hours a day because I'm doing a 9 to 5, I'm just talking as general, that's 16 hours in a day that's gone to sleeping and working. Now, I know for entrepreneur women, obviously it's not always 8 hours straight, sometimes it's scattered in the day, sometimes we work less, which is great, but ultimately if we say average, we spend about 16 hours sleeping and working. That still leaves us with 8 hours in the whole day, every single day, right? All I say to women is 3 hours. If you can spend 3 hours in the week for yourself, and I don't mean going to the nail shop and getting a manicure, because yes, that's for yourself, but I'm talking about movement and health. So 3 hours in the whole week to either do a home workout for 45 to 60 minutes or to go to the gym and do the same thing at the gym. Or if you can't even do that because you're at a beginner level, then spending 3 hours walking at a good pace, maybe walking up a hill, dancing in your house, maybe doing some skipping in your garden. There's so many different ways of moving, right? Like unlimited ways of moving. All I ask for women is 3 hours a week to commit to just moving their health. Or it could be 1 hour of the 3 hours spent to meal prep. Plan your food shop so that you know exactly what you're getting when you go out, so you're not here faffing around and going through aisles that you don't really want to be indulging in. And yet to that, I still hear I don't have enough time. And so for me, when I hear that I don't have enough time during the week to do all these things, I just think it literally starts with 3 hours. That's 168 minus 3. That's 165 hours still left in the week for you to do your sleeping, your working, your family time, whatever it might look like for you. But if you can't commit to just 3 hours a week for your own health, there's a different problem here. It's no longer about time. It's about commitment to your health, commitment to yourself. It's about energy allocation. It's about understanding the importance that you literally only have one body. And if you don't look after the one body that you have, unfortunately one day it is going to give up on you. And your body giving up can show up in so many different ways for different people. And I'm not going to get all deep in this first episode. I'm not going to start talking about major health problems, but they do exist. And lack of movement and poor nutrition is often some of the leading causes for these big health problems. But we're not going to get to that this episode. I'm going to try and keep it more to do with time allocation. This is the first time we're seeing each other on this episode, and I don't want to get too deep too quickly. Now, my next point is for the CEO babes, yeah? The entrepreneurs, the ones who took the risk, the ones who quit their 9 to 5 job because they were like, I'm not going to let nobody else control my time. I'm not going to let anyone tell me what to do with my time and my week. Yes, you guys who have quit your 9 to 5 jobs to take back control of your own time, to be the boss of yourself, right? To be able to say, I'm going to do this and this at this time. I'm going to have my own schedule. Tell me why you've quit the 9 to 5 job to take back control of your time, and yet you still complain that you don't have enough time to work out or to eat healthy or to go food shop. You still don't have time to work out, move, meal prep and invest back into your health. Tell me why and how that even happens. Because you literally wanted to quit your job so that you can decide what you do with your time. And yet, somehow you've still got yourself back in this trap where other people are actually controlling your time, and so is your energy and your mood. A lot of us women who are entrepreneurial, who are fighting our moods because we know that no matter how we feel, we have to do something. We're allocating that energy into just work, and we're neglecting our health. So for me, the reality is if you're becoming your own boss, you should be granting yourself time to commit to your health, to invest back into your health, because you've decided that you are going to be your own boss. Nobody else is going to control what you do with your time. There's no 9 to 5 anymore. There's no allocated time you have to wake up. No one's telling you what time to take your lunch, and yet you're still skipping lunch. There are literally loads of women that I have worked with that do not take a lunch break because they're too busy and there's just so much going on. This is my point about it's not because you don't have the time. You do have time, okay? We need to accept the fact that time is there. Time is around us and we have options and choices. So yes, your business is thriving and you're busy and there's loads of things to do, but you are still in control of the fact that you can stop for 30 minutes and take a lunch break. You can go for a walk for 30 minutes or even 10 minutes after you've had lunch. You can do an hour or two of weight training a week and you would be absolutely fine, if not better. On the coming episodes, I want to talk about the benefits on your business when you invest in your health. So I will actually get to that. But ultimately, when you think about it, the healthier you are, the more you are going to be able to show up, the better you are going to perform in your life and business. It's not about time. The time is there. And just to add as well, time is not waiting on anyone. As we all know, no matter what happens in our life, the one thing that is guaranteed, is that time is still going to go. It is ticking and ticking. And it doesn't care how you feel or where you are in life. It is just going to go. And for me, the thought that scares me the most, is sitting down in a year's time and being in the same exact position that I was. That stuff scares me. Like, I haven't progressed in any way. And for some people, it's even worse because they look back in a year's time and actually they're in a worse position. And guess what? That time is just gone. And that time doesn't come back either. There's no getting that time back. There's no rewind button. It's just going to keep going and going. And the longer you take to realise that if you don't take control of how you allocate your time, the time will just go and it will not care. And you will one day look back and think, oh my days, what have I been doing with my time? It's a bit similar to money, right? Like, if you don't allocate your money, if you don't know what's happening with your money, where your money is going, how you're spending it, how you're investing it, it will just do its own thing. And all of a sudden you'll realise and you'll look back and think, where has all my money gone? Like, what have I actually achieved with all this money? And it's the same thing with time, if not more important. You need to be able to tell yourself, I am going to allocate X amount of time for my health. I'm going to allocate X amount of time for my wealth, for my relationships, and the company that I keep around me. Another thing that I rant about so much is when women say they don't have time for health. And they don't really say it in that way, right? They never say, oh, I don't want to commit to my health. It's always in a bit of an indirect way. It's always like blurred lines. Like, yeah, I don't have time to work out, meal prep, walk, blah, blah, blah. You're basically saying, in a nutshell, that you can't commit to your health. You don't want to put time to your health. And my thing to that is, everyone listening at some point has been unwell, right? Whether it's just been a mild flu, whether it's been food poisoning, whether it's an even more serious health condition. We've all been at a point where we are stuck in bed and we literally do not want to go out and face the world. Our body is aching, we've got a fever, we're sweating, we're cold one minute, we're hot the other. We've all had those kind of symptoms. We also know that our immune system gets weaker when we're under stress, when we've neglected our health. We just know that, oh, okay, this was something that was brewing, this was something that was coming, and I knew it was going to get me at some point. And if you don't know that, and if you're not self-aware, maybe that's something to note down, because when you start clocking the patterns of when you're getting ill, especially those who get ill quite often, there may be other underlying reasons behind that. Being sick and being unwell takes up so much of your time, right? It stops everything. You have to be in bed, you have to rest, you can't go to work often. Even if you are trying to work around it, your performance is lower, your productivity levels are lower, your energy levels are lower, you feel like crap, you feel like you look like crap, the whole world is just crumbling around you, yeah? We've all been there. That takes up so much more time because you are continuously having to wait until your body is in a position where it's recovered to go and continue doing what it was doing. Whereas when you are just allocating time during the week for your health, when you're looking after yourself, you're going to the gym, you're taking the breaks to have rest and recovery, you're managing your stress properly, you're sleeping properly, you've got healthy bedtime and morning routines, you actually overall save more time. If you don't have time for health, how will you have time for sickness? Because it takes up way more time than being healthy. That's a lot of words there, right? But ultimately what I'm trying to say to you is you don't want to wait and put yourself in a position where you are prone to getting sick regularly. You don't want to put yourself in a position where you are going to get burnt out, where your body is going to literally say to you, I am not going to do this anymore. If you're not looking after us the way that you need to, I will just sit here and I will make it so hard for you to move and do the things that you have to do. So sometimes we need to slow down and think, yes, we have to be ambitious. Yes, we have to work hard. We have to have strong work ethic. We have to be productive. But that shouldn't be at the expense of your body, because, like I said, time doesn't wait for anyone. Even if you are sick, time will still go. Opportunities will be missed because you physically can't show up for yourself. Your body is literally the vessel that allows you to show up. And again, this isn't even to do with the more serious health problems. I'm not even going to touch on that at the moment. But you can sit there and imagine, right, how some of these illnesses can be so life-changing that you literally allowed yourself to be at risk of getting these illnesses because you didn't allocate your time effectively. You didn't allocate your time fairly. You was too busy chasing the money and the wealth that you forgot about your health. So, yeah, 9 times out of 10, it's not about having lack of time. It's to do with lack of strategy and planning when it comes to allocating your time efficiently. You've got the control over your time 9 times out of 10. Again, I'm talking on the average businesswoman. I'm not talking about extreme case scenarios, okay? I'm talking about the average scenario. We have control over our time. Most of us have control of when we wake up, when we go to sleep, what time we eat, when we work out, when we move our bodies. So if you are someone that literally Monday morning comes and you've got no idea what's happening in your week, you're just going with the flow, and you know that that is creating some sort of anxiety, because we all know that feeling, right? When you know you have to do things, but you're not actually actively doing it, and it just nags in the back of your mind. You're like, it's just there. It's like, oh, you missed another workout. You didn't meal prep again. You've got no lunch for work. You didn't plan your week. You don't know if you've double booked yourself with a client. That nagging feeling, A, creates micro stresses in your brain, which we know excessive stress is never good. And 2, that anxiety and that nagging little voice in your head just stops you from being as productive as possible. Because you just know there are things that you're just not doing. There are things that you're not putting your time into that you should be. So just get a pen and paper and start writing a list of all the things that you have not been allocating your time to. Just write them down. Write them down on the left-hand side. Then on the right-hand side, put how many hours do you think in a week you would need to be able to effectively commit to that task. So, for example, if it is the fact that you don't work out, you haven't worked out, but you just know that little voice is telling you, and I'm telling you, you need to work out at some point. Like, that needs to happen pretty much yesterday. So write down workout on the left, and on the right-hand side, write down how many hours you think you can commit to in that week. And even if it is, right, even if you are currently doing 0 movement in the week, even if you commit to just 1 hour, that makes such a big difference. Small steps, small action will build momentum, and then naturally over time, you will see that that will get more and more and more. But even just going from 0 to 1 is such a big improvement, even though it might look like a little step. So it doesn't have to be ambitious. If you're doing 0 workouts at the moment, don't then go for, oh yeah, I'm going to do 5 a week now. Because girl, you are not. Let's be realistic, okay? One of the things that you have to be when you are allocating your time is realistic. You have to assess the situation, and you have to understand that there are other things in your life that you have to commit to, and you need to prioritize effectively. So once you've had that list, all the tasks that you're currently neglecting and how many hours you think you can put into that task, Then get a Monday to Sunday planner. I literally use Google Sheets. So put it into the spreadsheet and start actually physically noting down when and what time you are going to do that task. So don't just say I'm going to do 3 hours a week of working out. Actually say, right, Monday evenings or Monday morning at 6 o'clock, I'm going to do the workout. And then Wednesday, I'm going to do the workout. And then maybe Sunday. Like, write down exactly and be as specific as possible on when you are going to complete that task. The more detailed and specific you can get and the more it is visually available to you, the more likely you are to actually efficiently do it. And another thing that I do as well is every Sunday, I like to go on my Google Calendar and put all my tasks from my spreadsheet onto it so that I know exactly what my week is looking like. Some weeks will of course look different. You might have different client meetings, family coming over, you might have a date night booked. Whatever it is, those weeks will of course look different. So reassess every Sunday, and before your week starts on Monday, make sure you know what's happening. Make sure you know that you haven't double booked, everything is in line, and you are mentally preparing yourself to commit to those tasks. And then you will realise that actually time wasn't the problem in the first place. You just didn't know where you was putting your time. It was just in the air. It just kept rolling, but you just didn't know where it was going because you didn't have a plan and you wasn't strategic. And of course, another point is productivity, right? Like, something that I've also struggled with is I overthink. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. So when I have a task that I'm going to do, I'm like, it's got to be perfect. It's got to be really good quality. And then I sit there and I overthink on how to start it and how to do it. And that doesn't always matter, right? If you can just start the task and also allocate a deadline. Usually I'm like, yeah, this isn't that important, so I'll start it, but I'll finish it when I can. I want to make sure it's really good, so I want to be careful with how I do it, blah, blah, blah. All of these different thoughts that are just running through my head when I have to do a new task. But actually what I realise is if I set myself a deadline, like, right, you're going to start this task at 10 a.m. and you're going to be done by 11. Now you've got 60 minutes of pure focus on completing that task. Whereas if you have an open-ended deadline, our brain naturally will just procrastinate. Other things will pop up, get off track, and that task will just take way longer than it needed to get completed. So we all have things that we overthink on. We all have tasks, and as ambitious, high-performing women, we want to do the best that we can. We want to perform to the best of our ability. And so sometimes we don't actually use our time productively because we overthink, we get off track, we lose focus on what actually is the priority in that moment. So when you make your plan, when you put the task on your calendar, I'm going to allocate 30 minutes to this task. I'm going to allocate 2 hours to this task. So do you see where this is going? You're literally planning out and mapping out where you want to put your time and your focus. And again, of course, things will happen that are out of your control because life wouldn't be life if it didn't just throw curveballs into your face every now and again. But ultimately, if that curveball didn't come and you didn't have a plan, you just wasted time because nothing actually extreme has happened. But because you haven't strategized and you haven't planned ahead, now you don't really know what you're doing with your time. And if the curveball does come, then guess what? You still have a good foundation that you have built. So you are actually more likely to be able to deal with extreme scenarios a lot more effectively because you're grounded, you know what you're doing. Everything is in place, everything is organised. It's like when, I don't know about you, but it's like when there's like clutter in the house or clutter in like your office. It really, really gets to me. Like, I just know it's there and I know it just doesn't look the way I want it to look and it's just clutter everywhere. And it just nags me. I'm like, Hatty, you know that like every time you walk into that room, that little left-hand corner is bothering you. Why are you not just fixing it? Why are you not just decluttering it? Or it might be your wardrobe. Like, there's been so many times in my wardrobe that I'm like, it just looks like a mess. Every time I want to go in and I want to take clothes out, it just takes me ages to find what I want to wear because it's just a mess, right? And it's like, I'm actually wasting time because I haven't just stopped and said, right, I'm going to allocate 1 hour this week to declutter my wardrobe or that corner that I'm talking about that's just annoying me. So I would have actually saved more time overall if I just did that one task, allocated the right amount of time, completed it, and then now every time I go into my wardrobe, I don't have to waste time. I can see everything clearly, I can pick out what I need, get dressed, and go about my business. And that is what I have done now. The old Hatty was just looking at things, getting overwhelmed by all the clutter, and just not even bothering. Just close the door, just look away, and just forget about it until you have to go back in again, and now it's bothering you again. And again, when you actually look at this and you zoom out, it's all about time. It's all about saying, I'm going to stop right now, pause, and take a moment to fix this thing that is bothering me, that is creating micro stresses in my brain, and is actually wasting my time, because every time I go and do something around that, it's taking me longer to get whatever I need to get. So if you actually change the perspective, you do have the time, because ultimately there's a lot of time that you're wasting. Have a think, how many minutes and hours am I wasting just by not just doing it? Like, we're just sitting there wasting time thinking about the task when we could just start and complete the task. So yeah, you get the point, right? You've got 168 hours in a week. I want you to go and make yourself a spreadsheet, write down a list of all the tasks that you're neglecting, and think about how much time you're actually wasting by not just doing those tasks. Because remember, you sitting there and overthinking is also a waste of time. And time is not waiting for nobody. Time will just tick-tock, tick-tock, and will just go. And I don't want you to be sitting there in 6 months' time, in a year's time, and think, where has my time gone? What have I actually achieved? Where have I allocated my time and my focus? Where is it all gone? I want you to sit there and think, yes, this has been an intentional 6 to 12 months. I've done all the things I needed to do. Yes, there have been some setbacks, but me being grounded and organised and prepared has actually helped me to get through those setbacks. And that's it. So I don't want to hear no more that you haven't got time, okay? I do not want to hear that you don't have time. I want to hear, how can I use my time more effectively? How can I prioritise my time? And think health. Think about your brain. What's creating micro stresses? What's creating anxiety? Because health isn't just your physical body. It's also your mind, right? And we have to protect our mind and body so that we can then be enabled to go out there and build our empires and build the success that we want. So hopefully you've been able to take a couple of points from this. If you've liked this video, please like and subscribe. And I want you to comment down that one thing that you've been putting off and tell me how you're going to allocate time to get that completed. Please share with your friends and family. I want to spread the message. I want to be a guide to more high-performing, ambitious women. And look, I'm learning every day as well, and I want to be a part of other women's journey. So please like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode very soon. Bye.